even Comet Hale-Bopp, which was also visible that night. This was something that didn't belong, something awe-inspiring, yes, but also a little frightening. And Mark Krzyston captured it all on video.
What I'm looking at here is a light on South Mountain. Initially, I didn't know what it was. I had been telling people over the years that I've seen lights in those mountains, and nobody else ever seemed to have seen anything. So I figured, well, at least I have something on videotape. So as I was filming that, another light came on to it, almost on the same plane, but further to the right. While I was filming those two lights, all of a sudden, this whole display of lights came on, one at a time, and they formed a graceful arch. And at that point in time, I called my wife, Sue. She was in another part of the house. I told her to come out. Hey, Sue?
Oh, my God. Ah.
The color is very, very distinctive. From where we are, we see a lot of helicopters, we see a lot of airplanes in the sky at night, and there's no way that this could be mistaken for any of those things. This is a very brilliant amber orange light. It's very solid, very bright. It doesn't waver or flicker. It's very different from anything else.
Tom King was 25 miles southeast of the Krzystons, and he had a video camera too.
We didn't know what it was, but about 5 or 10 minutes later, another one showed up. And I started rolling video on it. It was two objects really close together. And these girls started screaming, "There's another one, there's another one."
Wait, where? Another one, too. Where?
Pretty soon there were 6 of these objects in the sky, 4 of them in a straight line. And it looked like something really geometric to me.
They were perfectly still, they didn't move, and they went out one at a time, and they did not go out in the same sequence that they came on.
The objects were in the sky for 5 minutes, 25 seconds, 26 frames. I taped the entire thing from beginning to end. We weren't aware at the time that there were mass sightings taking place all over around Phoenix and all over Arizona.
Richard Motzer is lead field investigator for Arizona's Mutual UFO Network. He has conducted a detailed investigation into the Phoenix lights.
For most eyewitnesses, this has been the experience of their life. It has changed many, many people's opinions about unidentified flying objects.
Village Labs is a Phoenix-based company that creates computer software for aerospace and the film industry. For the past 20 years, Jim Delatoso has used his million-dollar computers to analyze, free of charge, potential UFO videos. He says that one of the most compelling facts in the Phoenix case is that the lights do not fit the spectrum profile of any known object. Are you saying that these lights might be ET, extraterrestrial in origin?
One of the possibilities that's left to explain the lights is that they are ET. It may be something else. It may be a very unusual government military project. My sense of it is whatever it is, it wanted to be seen.
This UFO may have wanted to be seen, but there are many who wish it had never been seen. Then Governor Fife Symington was flooded with inquiries. The public was demanding answers, and Symington called a press conference to announce his proposed plan of action.
I believe it a serious offense for anyone, human, space alien, or otherwise, to engage in mysterious activity in our nighttime skies. That is why I will personally ask that the perpetrator be prosecuted to the fullest for the havoc wrought on our entire community. And now I'll ask Officer Stein and his colleagues to escort the accused into the room so that we may all look upon the guilty party. Don't get him too close to me, please. You know. Now, this just goes to show that you guys are entirely too serious.
Perhaps Governor Symington, who was on the verge of being indicted for bank fraud and false representation, probably thought this alien joke would win him points with the press. But it also enraged a frightened public who wanted real answers about what was flying in free airspace above 1.2 million people. 3 months months would pass before anyone in an official capacity would come forward with a less frivolous explanation for the Phoenix lights. According to this letter from Captain Drew Sullins of the Maryland National Guard, the Guard was on a training run on the backside of the Estrella Mountains that night. And what the good people of Phoenix saw March 13, 1997, were military flares deployed in the wrong place.
Essentially, what we've determined and what we are pretty rock-solid sure happened is our A-10 Thunderbolts that are right behind me were part of Operation Snowbird last March 13th in 1997, and were on a night illumination exercise over the Berry Goldwater Range Complex southwest of Phoenix, and they were dropping high-intensity flares that deploy on a little parachute and descend to the earth. And we think that those flares were mistakenly called UFOs by the folks in the valley in Phoenix there.
This is a view of the Estrella Mountains from Mike and Sue Krzyston's backyard, from where they shot their video. The Berry Goldwater test range is behind the mountains, but the Krzystons and many other eyewitnesses insist they saw the lights on the Phoenix side of the mountains. A computer overlay by Village Labs supports this contention, so many in Phoenix are saying either the Maryland Guard were dangerously off course or the objects are not flares.
Flares would drift, they would drop, they would move sideways, they wouldn't hold a pattern.
Jim Dilatoso says that if they were flares, even flares suspended by parachutes, he will be able to detect some movement during the 3.5-minute video.
These lights do not move at all. It's not like they drift a little bit, they drift none.
In a comparison between the Krzyston video and Air National Guard footage of the type of flares they claim to be dropping that night, one can see the smoke halos around the flares. Obviously, videotaping conditions are not comparable, but there were no eyewitness accounts that mention smoke, halos, or parachutes. And just a few months ago, on January 14, 1998, it happened again. The same orange orbs of light appearing in the same place. And once again, Mike Krzyston was ready.
Oh, hey, we got three. We got three.
Three.
Yeah.
There are three right there, right now.
Listening to your voice on the tape, on your video, Sue, you sound excited, but I also detect something else in your voice. A little bit of fear, a little bit of apprehension.
I do have to admit that, yes.
Okay, this is amazing. This is totally amazing. Okay,
We got
have lights.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
This time, I was definitely excited, but I was a bit intimidated by what was happening, and I was a little bit concerned. It was a bit scary and a bit freaky.
This is unusual.
So what were they? Consider this scenario. The Phoenix lights, bright and obvious, were just a diversion to take attention away from something far more ominous. An enormous UFO the military or some other agency or some other civilized